Come on back in. What's up? What's up, slow readers? It's your girl, Coley Cole, coming back to you with another one and another one and another one. And so today is going to be a TBR video for the month of June. So let's hit it. Alright, what's up? What's up? So normally I do a what's the thing called? Normally I do a wrap up for the previous month, and for the month of May I will show you a clip on this very side of all the things of my story graph that I've read for the month of May. My favorite one would have to be The Obsession by Jesse Q. Sutanto. And that one, man, that got crazy. So that one, there was a stalker, and the girl, Delilah, was the one being stalked, and she had went through some things. She had gone through some things. And that stalker, I'll tell you what, he effed around and found out. Okay, so you gotta read it so you can get all the details and all the steps on how she took to get going. But it was giving enough. It was giving enough. Okay. Anyhow, moving on. So that was actually, The Obsession was the only one out of all the old books that I'm reading unhaul type books that actually I read all the way through. The second one that I did the most reading of is The Nothing Man by Catherine Ryan Howard, I believe her name is. Anyhow, that book was very slow for me. It was very meh, very slow, and the only reason why I'm saying that I DNF'd it is because it wasn't what I was expected and what I was wanting at the point. So I was wanting or needing something more fast-paced. The Obsession, I read in a day. I was bound and determined. It took me literally all day, but I finished it 11:55 p.m. Your girl made it. Your girl made it. It took me all day to finish that book because that's my slow readerism. Okay, slow readerism. That's the whole thing. Call it that. It is what it is. So, but The Nothing Man was too slow for me for two reasons. One is the killer's POV is in third person. Y'all know I am not a third person girly, okay? I'm working on it. I'm working on it with this other book that I'm gonna show y'all, the Count of Monte Cristo with the challenge thing. And second is because the POV in the survivor's point of view is it's like a book within a book form. So basically the whole thing that says on the back of the book is the killer sees a book that the survivor of his last victim's house, the last family's house that he visited, she was the sole survivor of that attack on that house. And so basically she survives, she grows up, she moves away, she writes a book, and he sees the book. So, and that's his point. You get his point of view first. He sees the book, and so he's reading the chapters. So as he's reading the chapters, you're reading the chapters. So when it switches over to her POV, you're reading her book, and it's written in memoir form. I tell you what, the two hi-ya chop chewy thingies in one book, I couldn't do it. I'm so sorry. It is what it is. I tried. I made it to about page 80, almost 100. Either way, I gave it the good college try. Normally I give it 50 pages, but I was trying to hang in there, but it did not work for me. I skipped to the last chapter, found out what had happened to him, and it is what it is. Did not count it. So I read exactly 13 books last month, in the month of May in its completion. So there you have it. And in order for me to read or reach my reading goal, which is 150 of this year, my brother set an impossible rando number, and so he was like, give it a shot. And I was like, I'm down for the challenge. I love to read. It is what it is. So I did the math. For the first 6 months of the year, I must read 13 books. And I'm right on schedule. Barely making it, but I'm right on schedule. Anyhow, so this month, now, we're moving on to the TBR that was chosen for the month of June. So, here's what it is. Normally, I don't do themes very much. I don't worry about what season it is. I don't worry about it. If I want to pick up the book, I'm going to pick up the book and I'm going to freaking read it, okay? That's how it's going to happen. But this month is a little something that I can get behind. You know what I mean? This month you got Juneteenth, okay? Juneteenth. So some of the books are going to be very slave-oriented and, us overcoming that type of book, things that happen afterwards, that type of theme. There's also Pride Month. So we're going to have a lot of queer reads. If you ain't down for it, you ain't got to read it. I'm the one who got to read it, okay? If you don't want to read it, then skip the rec. Don't look at the recommendation of what, or showing you what I'm going to read, okay? It is what it is. And then thirdly, since it's Father's Day, is also Men's Health Month. So I figured I cheated a little bit on some of the books that I did, but I have my Libby holds are coming available on some of the other rando books that you will see here. There's also books that have been on my shelves for quite some time, so therefore I'm not mad at it coming available at this time in the month of June. So it is what it is. And then so you'll see like some of the books are just written by Black men, so it ties in the Juneteenth type of thing, men's health, all of it ties in together. Okay. Anyhow, so the first thing I'm going to read is all throughout the month of June, July, and however long it takes me going to read this book is The Count of Monte Cristo. It's part of the challenge that I have decided to do. Now, when I first set out to do this challenge, it was supposed to be 10 pages a day, but it took me 10 years to read 10 pages in a day. So it was severely hindering my ability to read more books. So I had to knock it down to 5 pages a day. So 5 pages a day for 75 days, and it started May 18th. So we are now in the middle of, not quite the middle of, but we're almost 100 pages in to The Count of Monte Cristo. This brick. So that's one thing I will be reading in the month of June. Now, so my Libby did something weird to me. It said it was available soon for this next book, but then all of a sudden it jumped to like 8 weeks wait. I'm like, how would it go from available soon, like within the next few days, and then it jumps to freaking 8 weeks? I was pissed. I was big mad. But I ended up having to read this book on Spotify. So this one is written by Evan Winter, lovely Black man. This is the second in the series, and this has been grandfathered in from my last month's TBR, which is Fires of Vengeance. It's the second in the series of the Burning series, I think they call it. Yes, The Burning Part 2. Love that spine. Anyhow, so the first one is called Rage of Dragons. It's a nice big fantasy book written by a Black man. We love it. We're trying to read more male authors, especially Black men. And so that's the first up on the TBR. Then Also, we're just gonna go with, next up is the books that are coming available on my Libby. And the first one is, this has nothing to do with all the themes, but it's called The Coven by Harper L. Woods. And this is all witchy stuff. And it says, death is not your end. And that's all I need to know. The Coven. The second one is The Curse, with this nice pretty sprayed edge up here. So, we're gonna give it a shot. And my Libby's almost ready for this. This one came available today. Daughter of Mine by Megan Miranda. It's a thriller. And let's see, any blurbs? The exhilarating new thriller from Megan Miranda, master of misdirection and sudden plot twist. Southern plot twist. Southern? Sudden plot twist. Boom. Anyhow. And she's the best author for all these things. The discovery of the first car was a shock. I'm not reading the whole thing. There's no other blurbs. So, she's very popular. I've never read a Megan Miranda book, so this will be my first. And I believe I have another one of hers on my thriller shelf. Yes. Such a Quiet Place. And maybe some more, but who knows? Oh wait, there it is. The Last House Guest. So, being that this is available now on Libby, on audio, so I don't have to read with my eyeballs at all times, and help me get through more books this month, I'm going to go with Daughter of Mine by Megan Miranda. And then this I've had on my shelf for a while now. I don't have the cover art for it because it was a thrift read. It's probably one of those free things, or maybe even from the library. Anyhow, Liar's Game by Eric Jerome Dickey. Black male author. And he has since passed, but he was very popular in the 90s and 2000s and all that. So this one is available soon, coming through Libby, but again, I'll be reading with my eyeballs most of these books, and sometimes going back and forth between audio. This way I can make sure I can maximize my reading time. I am doing summer camp for my SPED kids, so for the first 3 weeks of June, I'll be spending part of my time working, so I need to be able to utilize audiobooks because I won't be home at all day until the last week of June. So I smell the 24-hour readathon coming on. Be ready for that. See if I can actually do it. Alright. Here is also another one that is available on Libby for my audiobook, Queen of Myths and Monsters. This is one of those retelling type of things using Greek gods for like the names of actual characters. This is set back in horse carriage days. The guy that in the MMC, the male main character, is a vampire. So she is like, look, if I got to marry you to save my queendom, sure, fine, whatever. But you gonna do my things my way. You know, I'm gonna wear the big dress around here. My skirt is wide. Okay, deal with it. And he's like, sure. And she's like, look, I am that girl. Play with it if you want to. Anyhow, this is the second in the series. And so it says, Isolde, Adrian said quietly, and when I finally met his gaze, his stare was gentle. You are my light. I took his face between my hands. She said, you are my darkness. And I kissed him. Okay. She's like, look, you mine. Let everybody else F around, find out. let him find out. Because you a vampire don't mean jack. I am that girl. And I love that about it. So this is like an interracial type of romance set back in the horse and carriage days between a vampire and a human. Queen of Myths and Monsters by Scarlett St. Clair. Color Me Dark. Color Me Dark. The Diary of Nellie Lee Love, The Great Migration North. So this is after everything went down. She going from down south all the way up to Chicago, I believe, and this is her little diary of her journey. And it's a scholastic book. Should be quickie, get in, get out, short read. Not even 200 pages. So again, Color Me Dark, and they don't have an author. I'm assuming it'd be Nellie Lee Love and their version, their kid-sized version of her journey and her diary. All right. Going back in the day again. The Queen's Spade by S.R.A. This is set back in the horse and carriage days. The year is 1862. And it says the blurb at the top, which I'm going to read, is a young lady can only take so many injuries before humiliation and insult forge a vow of revenge. Get back at him. Okay? Get back at him. She's up against the British Crown. I guess she was stolen. Yep, she was taken from wherever she was. She's princess. And look, princess supposed to be queen. When she's supposed to come of age, she's supposed to be queen, and then she got taken from her village or her area. And the Brits did it. So they about to get got. Then up next is Rust in the Root. Now this is a dual type of thing for me because it hits the theme of queer read as well as set back into slave colonial type days. So Rust in the Root by Justina Ireland. And this is in, oh no, it's not set in the thingies. It is 1937, and Laura Ann Langston lives in America, divided between those who work the mystical arts and those who do not. Okay, why she said like she about to hop in the carriage. Either way, interesting queer read. Also set back in 1937, so it's a historical, magical realism type of deal. This Ravenous Fate by Haley Dennings. This is also hits as a queer read, historical fiction, because this is 1920s jazz club vampire type story. It's set in Harlem, okay? Black vampires, yes. I probably feel like this was on my TBR at one point, but it was feeling like right book, wrong time. I wasn't in the mood. But here we are again, giving it a shot. This is This Ravenous Fate by Haley Dennings. Then we have The Sweetness of Water by Nathan Harris. And this is a black male author. Look at it. Get with it. So this one says, a profound debut about the unlikely bond between two freed men who are brothers and the Georgia farmer whose alliance will alter their lives and his forever. So this is given historical fiction, and it looks like it's going to be a tough read, but well worth it. Juneteenth. Alright, here's another Juneteenth type themed book. And I got this book a whole year ago. And I still haven't picked it up. I was so excited. As soon as it first came out, I was ready for it. Okay? It's called Blood Slaves by Marcus Redman. And basically, it's a revolt. And so it says, what if a mystifying revolt precluded the Civil War and changed history as we know it? The vampire origin story is brilliantly reimagined in this terrifying novel of ancient lore, startling revenge, and immortal emancipation in the 18th century. And it's written by a black man. Look at that. Hey, look at it. Look at all these points for the theme. How? So those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 3 more on the TBR, and these are Kindle reads. First up is Outdrawn by Deanna Gray. Look at that cover. Queer read. All of my Kindle reads are going to be queer reads. And it says it's Rivals to Lovers. Then we have The Charm Offensive by Allison Cochran. Cute. So this is a workplace romance. Male. It's a rom-com for the workplace. And then Can't Resist Her by Kiana Alexander. And all of these are on Kindle Unlimited. Can't Resist Her by Kiana Alexander. This is of course, lesbian romance. And this also has the audiobook attached to it as well. So, I feel like maybe I have cheated or stacked the deck in my favor. And so therefore, most of these books, if not all of them, will be read. There you go. So, thank you for coming through, taking a peek, having a look-see, taking a little gander at my TBR for the month of June. This is Pride Month. This is Juneteenth. This is Men's Health Month. And then there's also the fact that I have a few reads coming available through Libby. It is what it is. So let's see. I don't think I can hold it all up. Hopefully I don't drop them all. Here's some of them. Thanks for watching Slow Readers Anonymous, where we buy more books than we can read in a lifetime. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you're reading this month. Peace.